Right, good evening. Welcome to the 12-Man podcast, live on Facebook, all the places you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Amazon, Apple, all the good places, really. You got me, Steve Jackson. I'm in the main chair, as usual. I've had my week holiday and I've had my hiatus and that. I'm back doing it full time again. So yeah, we've got Mr. John Cutler with us. Evening, Cut.
Evening, mate. All right.
Yeah. Looking very dapper there.
Thank you. Smooth talker, you.
I'd like to see you in the you smooth talker. Got Mr. James Dalgarno with us. Evening, Dally.
How we doing, boys? All right.
Yeah, recovered from the weekend.
Just about.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about the weekend because yeah, some good stories from the weekend. And pleasure to join us. First time on the podcast. If not, he'll be on many times after this anyway. But kindly from Middlesbrough Sport South, Mr. Harvey McCabe with us. Evening, Harvey. Okay.
Evening, yeah, good to be here. Yeah, really looking forward to this.
No, really good to have you on. Thank you very much for giving up your time this evening. So, yeah, we're going to have a little chat about West Brom. Let's bring some positivity about things first. Hang on, go on.
Yeah, just before we start, I don't like favouritism, me. So Dally and Harvey are looking very dapper as well. So there you go, boys.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, but you're usually laid in bed with your dressing gown on. That's why I made this comment. But yes, you are looking all very dapper. Well done. Thanks for getting the memo. So yes, we're going to talk about West Brom. Let's start on a big positive because I thought it was possibly at the time our best performance of the season by a long way. We were brilliant on Tuesday night. Then we'll talk about Saturday. We'll talk about Watford. We'll get Dally and Harvey on this one. Two very different away days for them. One starting very early, one starting quite normal for most people. And so just get an aspect of how different things are getting towards the kick-off, and then we'll go into the game. I won't spoil the result, but it wasn't a good one. So yeah, we'll go into all that. We'll have a chat about why it happened, the ifs, buts, and maybes. But before we start, as always, are we all right?
Spot on.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah, top notch.
Lovely. Just what I want to hear. Right, Kurt, I'll start with you. West Brom Tuesday. We're getting closer and closer with these predictions. We said Packney would score. We said we'd win. We were just missing the second goal. But somewhat for me, an absolute beaut. Would you put it down as a perfect away performance?
Yeah, I thought we were really comfortable against the team top of the league that were unbeaten at home. I think apart from the last 5 minutes, they didn't really look like they were going to score. I just think it's typical of this football club where you control games and you miss chances where it could have been a lot more comfortable for the fans, but we all know following this football club, they don't like to do that. So it was a bit squeaky bum time at the end, but yeah, I thought it was an excellent performance. Individual displays, pressing, work rate, creating chances. I thought it was all there, really. The only thing that was missing was getting the second goal and maybe the third. So yeah, I thought we laid down a really good market at the rest of the division on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to get that second, get a bit of comfort. There's nothing worse than going to the 90th minute, still 1-0 up, still having a bit of nerves. But Dally, I never once thought, which is really weird because we were playing top of the league, that they were really going to threaten us. That they put on a really big chance at the end because I thought we were really comfortable at the back.
Yeah, I think Edmondson had a brilliant game, didn't he? I think defensively, it was our best game of the season defensively, quite comfortably. I think you look at the subs who came on to defend the lead. You look at the likes of Isaiah Jones, who was coming under some criticism. I thought his defensive work was absolutely brilliant. You look at right across the park. It was a real good performance. Even that little spell where Madju was becoming a bit mischievous at the back, going in late on De Jong, and they're a big team. When you see the size of them, I think it's possibly a physical presence why they've done so well this season, mixed with a little bit of Carl Brown's football. When they've got the likes of Jed Wallace, and we kept them quiet. I think it was, an all-round brilliant performance from us defensively.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was. And you mentioned Maggi there. I think he probably had the best chance of the game for West Brom when he nipped in front of DN. It wasn't far from the end. It was one of those where the keeper goes for he nips in front and your heart sinks as you think, oh God, they've got us. They've got us. But apart from that half, I thought, like the lads have said, and I'll grow a testament to it, I thought we were absolutely brilliant, and there only looked to be one winner on the night for me.
I agree. I think it was a defending from the back and moving that forward to the front line. It works wonders, and we didn't really look threatened at times against top of the league. And I think it's when you play teams who are more expansive, who go out there not sitting back and waiting for us to attack and throw men forward, really opens up our game. We get out to the wings. I thought we attacked really, really well. And when the goal came, we took our chance when Corberan's West Brom is, they get numbers back really, really quickly, and they set themselves up with eight at the back when they're defending. And it's to break them down when we did with Hackney. It was really positive, and credit to the centre backs as well. We've got a bit of chop and change there this season, but they look really settled. Whoever comes in next to it's Vandenberg, Clark, or Edmondson, we look really, really strong there. And I think that's going forward. That's a real positive to take.
Yeah, I think that emphasises the fact that we've made on here quite a few times. If you get the spine right, I think that is the perfect way to go forward with things. But I think we said last week, Cuts, didn't we? This kind of game was going to suit us. Playing a team like West Brom, who are on the front foot, it's the kind of game we like because we can counter them, we can get them on the break. But I felt like we did a little bit more than that. I thought at times we really controlled that game and we pushed West Brom back further and further to a point where, I say, when the goal did come, it wasn't a shock to anyone, was it?
No, there was only at that point in the game, there was only going to be one team that was going to be scoring. It was going to be us. We missed. I don't know. The keeper made a good save from Lattilat's header. It was a good header. But that was a really good chance. And I think since the Sunderland defeat, we've talked about it on here about possession's fine, but you've got to move the ball quicker and play little triangles like what we've seen in the past. I think we've started to do that in the last 3 games. Obviously, we'll go into Watford a little bit more in a bit, but I think we've moved the ball a lot quicker and we've tried to play balls in behind the back 4 a lot more. I think we've been a lot more forward thinking. And I don't think that's no coincidence that it's coincided with the arrival of Ben Doak, who, as we've said, gets the ball. His first instinct is always to go forward. I've always said I don't mind my wingers losing the ball in the final third if they're trying to do something. Every time, I love how positive he is. I said it last week, he's a breath of fresh air for this football club, and I think it'll be a massive signing for us for the year coming. I think I like Jones. He needs to take a little bit of a leaf out of Doak's book and go back to how he was when he first got into the team, because I think if we can get the two of them absolutely flying, it's going to be a major threat for any team in this division, for sure.
Oh, of course, absolutely. I think he's starting to fall into that category of don't fall in love with a lone player because it'll bite us, because he won't come back. And I'm trying to keep myself on the ground of we were never ever going to sign this kid because this kid's meant for Liverpool's first team in the future. He really is. He's fantastic. But it's hard not to. He's like you say, he's a breath of fresh air. He's direct. He's quick. His first article is to go forward, and as a winger, that's exactly what you want. And it's
absolutely.
It's no secret that the success has come simply because we've brought in someone that's forward thinking and is creating more and more chances, even more than we were actually creating. So, yeah, it's enjoy him while he's here. That's what my message would be about that kid. He's just so good. But yeah, fantastic win on Tuesday night. Brilliant performance. Fantastic away backing again. I think over 1,500 made the trip down to the West Midlands. It's a tough trip. It's a really tough trip to make, especially on a Tuesday night. Done it many times before. But tell fans. I'll say it every week, and I'll die saying it. Our fans are the best in the league, and I'll always put my head on the block for that. I don't care about Leeds. They have fans all over the country. We don't have the pleasure of that. We've got fans based around the country, but not as much as they have. I say our fans are incredible, and I love them for it. So, right then,
Yeah, it was like you say, 8 o'clock leave from Middlesbrough, straight on the motorway, and I think the bottle of Eldorado was being passed around the back of the bus. Everyone having a swig. At roughly about 9:10. You could hear the cracks of cans before we'd even pulled out the Bluebell car park, and off down the motorway we go. Obviously have a stop off, and then we pulled into St Albans, into a local establishment down there. I believe it was called the Gate, and it was they looked after as well. And then but back on the bus and arrived. We got to Vicarage Road around about 20 to 3. So we're in that long queue that we were bottlenecked into to be searched and frisked half a dozen times before you could actually get in. And then in we go, but a little bit blurry eyed at that point. I think the Eldorado might have kicked in.
Well, at least you had like perfect vision. I mean, say one very big regular on the bus. I still can't believe where he got that helmet from or why he had a helmet, but he had one. They say we'll bang a picture on the social because it's an absolute beauty. It's just one of those things. If you know the guy, you just know he was going to do something stupid, and he did it. Fair play to him. He's only 21 once. He's been doing about 40 times, so hasn't he, Fletch? So that's your start, and that's your kicking. Talk us through how your away day started. What the supporter South group did. Went to the meeting point, getting to the ground. Talk us through your part of the away day.
Well, it certainly didn't start at 8:30 or 8 o'clock on a bus. To be fair for us, I think just a bit about MSS. We cover such a large sort of area of the south. We're not the southwest, but it's London, it's Surrey. I'm in Kent, so it sort of covers such a wide range. We're all coming from different places and on various different means of transport. But for me personally, started off about I think 10:30, something like that. We got a nice train into London, and then a few beers on the train, and over to Euston. It's 20 minutes on the Euston train in, and then we had a choice of lot. I got about 1 o'clock. Choice of great places. I mean, for Watford, credit to them, very way friendly. Every bar in the centre and things will accommodate. There's no turning away people for wearing a Borough shirt or having a scarf or anything like that. It's really accommodating. But the Oddfellows pub just round the corner, and this is Watford's one of my favourite away days for MSS because the Oddfellows pub has got a great beer garden, and when you go in, for me personally, I go to quite a lot of away games, and usually when they're further north and things like that, you sort of go to the pub and you don't really know as many. I don't know anyone, to be honest with you, just the people that I've come with. But when at Watford, you come around, you're saying hi, seeing familiar faces, the people you see in the pub when we're on TV during the week and things. So for us, it was a great friendly atmosphere, and it's sort of one where we sort of knew everyone in the pub, and we could sort of have a good laugh, which is always good.
There you go. It's completely different ends of the scale, isn't it? But there's one common denominator. Everybody ends up on the beers anyway. It's just what Borough Away Day is all about. Win or lose, you at the booze. But come to you. Team comes out 2 o'clock. One change. Michael Hamilton comes in for Riley McGree. Is this another step of characters protecting him a little bit? The amount of games that would have been 3 in a week for Riley, or is it a case of are we finally giving Hamilton his chance? Was this the moment where he thought, right, I'm going to unleash him. Let's see what this kid's really about, or are you going to give me a completely different aspect?
It's nonsense, absolute nonsense. To change McGree and put him on the bench is an absolute joke for me. I can't get it. I've said many times, I think he's He's our most creative player. He creates a load of space by moving off the flank. I couldn't understand it at all. We've got an international break coming up for 2 weeks. If he's fit enough to be on a bench, he's fit enough to start. You ask any player, you can go back. I've been watching football 40 years now. All the successful teams, they ask them, are the players tired? You don't get tired when you're winning. 2 on the bounce, 2 wins on a bounce. I just can't understand it. I love Carrick, love him to bits, but that decision for me was mental.
There you go.
It was a head scratcher, wasn't it? It was a head scratcher because we watched the Sunderland game, and he's on the bench, and we said if he's fit enough to be on the bench, he's got to be fit enough to play.
Yep.
We didn't win. We've then played Stoke at home. He's played. Hackney's getting rave reviews in the last couple of weeks, and it comes totally in line for me with Riley McCabe playing. Like you just said, we're going into an international break. You get a win there. Go to Watford and get a win with your strongest team. You keep the momentum going, and I think we said last week. Then the international break comes at the wrong time if you've got another win. Plus, if you get the win, you go on the international break roughly about 5th on goal difference, 4th or 5th on goal difference, and you're right in the mix. I mean, don't get me wrong, we're still 4 or 5 points off, but you've got the points in the bag, and Riley can go and have a fortnight's rest. It was a real head scratcher when you saw he was the name left out of the squad. I know we've got to give Hamilton. He's got to get his chance, but I just think now we've started winning. You keep the team the same. Look after McGree after 75 minutes, if you can. If the game's not tight, then bring him off.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Are we protecting him for Australia? We pay his wages. He's employed by this football club. Like Dally said there, he could have put his slippers on for 2 weeks. I couldn't give 2 hoots about Australia and the national team. I want success for this football club. We employ him. If I'm sure if Carrick had said to him, "Oh, how are you feeling? Are you tired? I'm thinking of resting you tomorrow," McGree wouldn't have wanted that. None of the fans
what I will
wanted
say,
it.
Coach, what I will say on the flip side is there was a clip of him after the West Brom game with a big ice pack on. So if he's got a knock, then okay. But it goes back to what we said before as well. If he's fit enough to be on the bench, he's got to be fit enough to play.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. See, this is why I bring different people on. This is, get a different aspect of all things. But no, you're absolutely right. I mean, because the funny thing is, in about 5 minutes, we're going to talk about how starting Hamilton, along with Doak on the wings, wasn't a bad idea, to be quite honest, because I thought they were quite threatening. But, hindsight's a beautiful thing. Harv, what was your opinion on the starting lineup? Bring your argument into this. How do you feel about the situation?
I agree with what's been said. I think for me, the beauty of McGree is that he's really versatile, and he doesn't have to play on the left. He can play in the 10 role and do a very, very good job there. And he's done it. He did it a couple of seasons ago. He did it last season. He's so versatile, and leaving him out just makes no sense. Some games, and we'll go into how it goes. And in hindsight, the decision wasn't as bad as it could have been. But you've got to look at it and think the opposition. They got physical. Got some quick players, and you want someone with a bit of technical ability who can have a shot from outside the box, catch him on the break to play in that role. And he was crying out for him to come on and do it. If he's injured or not, I don't know. I don't know if he's what's wrong. I did see the video of him with the ice pack on, and maybe he did carry a knock. But if he carried a knock, why did he come on the pitch for 20 minutes when we needed him and to sort of control the game a bit more? And yeah, I don't know. It was a baffling decision, and I would definitely have started him either in the 10 or on the left.
Yeah. I mean, when I saw the team, I was a bit perplexed by why is McGree not playing. For me, Coach will absolutely agree, and he'll nod away as I'm saying this. I know he will. You don't change the winning formula. You don't change the winning team. I say if that team, if everybody in that team is fit and ready to go, you crack on. It's easier to pick yourself up 3 days after a win to go again. It's easier. If you start losing a couple, it's a bit more difficult. But the body's raring to go because the body's telling you if you stop, someone's going to come and take your place. That's the way it is. So yeah, it was a bit of a weird decision. I wasn't a big fan of it, but we get into the game, Coach. We get into the game. They started with 3 at the back, which we pretty much knew was going to happen. Three big centre halves as well. I was quite surprised to see Bonner for Watford. I didn't know that had snuck in. Formerly of West Ham, I thought a bit of a weird sign for Watford. But then you see Sissoko, you see Tom Ince. They've got some players when you start looking at them, but I think the 3 at the back helped us because our wing play got around their wingers because their wingers didn't want to defend as much. It relied on the 2 centre-halves coming out to make that space, which I thought Finn Azaz thrived on quite a lot in the first half because he started playing his little passes and making them little runs in the inside, didn't he?
He did, yeah. I thought Finn was quite impressive in both the away games last week. But the space, a lot of people have a go at him. For me, one thing he needs to add is goals, Finn.
Yeah.
He's a creative player. He does a lot of work off the ball and creates space for other players. People don't see that as much. People will have a go at him about his... He seems to get a bit of unfair criticism from me, as I like him. I think he's a good player. You talk slightly there about the McGree thing that working well on the flanks. I thought Hamilton did really well, to be fair. We've arguably left out our best player and not arguably our most creative player. So for how much we dominated that game for 60 odd minutes, we would have dominated it exactly the same and maybe with more goals if McGree had been playing. So yeah, again, slightly going a little bit off topic. I'm so fuming about McGree not starting, but yeah, I thought Azaz did really well.
He has to score in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was my next point. He has to score.
It was at the opposite end of where the Borough end was, and it wasn't until I watched it back yesterday that you think, gee, you've got to put them away, and that's what's killing us this season. The chances that we're creating, and we've talked about, but as a number 10, Christ, Neto Borges would have scored that, and he's the for me he's the weak link in the team, and we'll look at that later. But I think any other player scores that goal, and I think if he'd have got that goal, his confidence would have been up because that's what he needs to add more to in his game. Don't get me wrong, I've had a couple of chances as well. I thought Hammond looked okay. I thought he did well, but for me, and I don't know if it was the Eldorado kicking in, but I didn't see Doak get past his man once. Forgive me if I was a bit blurry eyed. I think the defender who was on him, whether it was a 3 or it was a fullback or a wingback, I thought that the lad who played against him had him in his pocket.
Doak was doubled up for a lot of the game, which we should have capitalised on. You've got a left and a right hand side, and if one wing is getting doubled up on, that leaves space in the middle of the park. And goes back to the Azaz. I like Azaz. I think he off the ball and on the counter he's great, but when teams sit back, he slows down the attack so much. And when you've got the quick wingers and you want to get in behind, you've got Latulaf peeling off. He doesn't get the ball out quick enough, and if he doesn't get the ball out, have a shot, and he doesn't shoot either. I need him to be a bit more proactive when we've got that ball, and it just requires that extra bit of speed to get that ball out and to release our quick players we've got now with Doak and Hamilton, and McGree's got that extra bit of quickness as well when he's that 5 yards he gets when he tries and breaks down an attack when we're on their line, on their box. We need to break it down. Like for me, when Doak's getting doubled up, we need to get that ball into the middle of the park, someone quicker with quicker feet to get that ball fizzed out to the other side and to the left, because we'll break teams down so much quicker then.
We were saying in the ground, that halfway through the first half, Doak was having no luck down that side. Stick him on the other side. Let's see how they cope with him on the other side of the pitch, and mix it up a little bit. They're frustrating, but like I say, we had chances. Hamilton had one. We had a laugh at it. It was a header, wasn't it? And in the first half. Yeah, just it was frustrating, and you get the feeling with Laff, if he gets 1-2 goals in, I think he needs to pick his confidence up. I don't know. I just don't feel he's as confident as he was at the back end of last season.
Well, I was going to make the point. I'm glad you mentioned Latulaf because it feeds in quite nicely. Obviously, there's a lot of conversation about him. The the late move that Ipswich made, the amount of money that Ipswich put on him. He keeps getting labelled the 20 million striker. That's labelled by other clubs. That's not him. It's not his fault. Do we think it possibly needs to be taken out the firing line just for a game or two, just to back him out?
No, I
don't.
Stick with him. I'd stick with him because what I would say is I know I've said that he's had a couple of chances where he has missed, but his work rate, the work he does off the ball, is vital to us. And I feel that I think they'd scored just before he went off. But I think bringing Bergzorg on, he doesn't put the shift in that Lath does. And I think we end up with the ball coming at us a lot more than we do when Lath's on. I think Lath can sometimes be a better out ball because of his pace. There's something about Bergzorg. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's his attitude. I think it's just naturally the way he plays. But he doesn't seem to be about the team as much as Lath is.
So I'll counter that. I'll counter it by I'm sick to the back teeth of reading about how hard Lath works. I love hard-working players, but ultimately his job's to score goals. So I agree. I think, Jacko, you've made a very valid point. If Conway's fit for our next game, Bristol City, I'll take Lath out because he scored one goal and that was a penalty. So that's no goals from open play. And have we created a hatful of chances? No, but he's missed plenty of chances. For me, you take him out, and if Conway scores, Conway stays in because Lath's job is to score goals. I like him as a player. I think he's great. What's that?
Is Conway going to be fit? That's the question, obviously, for a fortnight's time, isn't it?
There's no way I play Bergzorg instead of Lath. No chance. But if Conway is fit, I'll take Lath out and play Conway.
Go on, Harvey, I'll let you weigh on the argument.
I think for me, Lath is he does work hard, but I agree his job to score goals, and if he's not scoring goals, you've got to take him out because I know strikers rely on confidence, things like that, but again, it's the team. If there's someone stepping up with, Conway, you scored a few great goals already from open play. If he's next in line, if your striker's not scoring, he's next man up, and you're getting the man who's scoring behind him. So for me, if Conway's fit, he starts next game, and if he scores, he continues. Then Lath's got to take his opportunities in the 70th minute and beyond to try and get back in the team because he's not scoring, he's missing chances, and as much as his work rate's great, we need someone who can get the ball in the back of the net because at the moment one goal isn't good enough for us. As we saw Watford, we were 1-0 up, we lost it with 2 goals, 2-1, and we need to score more goals to finish games off. And if Lath's not going to offer that, then it's next man up.
I think I'd love to see two up top, if I'm honest with you, because I think he would link up brilliant with anyone. I think he would be a brilliant. I think that you're saying they're coming off at the 70th minute. The pace on him, I think he would scare defenders. And we know he's got it in him that he can score. His confidence is gone. I do believe when he does finally find the net in open play, I think you would see a little bit of a run from him. But yeah, I think walking away after the game on Saturday, there was obviously a lot of frustration that the chances that we did miss as a team, because there was other players who missed chances that were not clinical right across the pitch.
Yeah, and I agree with you. 2 up top.
I agree with you.
Yeah, sorry.
I was going to say I agree with you. I don't agree with the 2 up top, but I agree with you that he'll score goals and he just needs a goal. And as bad as this sounds, it's what have you done for me lately? And like I say, 1 penalty, no goals from open play. It's not good enough for me. So, like Harvey said, next man up, and that next man's Conway, who I've been impressed with when he has started and played games.
He's a clever footballer, really intelligent striker, and when he's fit, he's going to be, gets a good run of games, and I think he's going to be a huge asset for us. He's going to be really good.
Agree.
Well, that's it. I mean, and the positive thing about the next game is Bristol City in a couple of weeks. Former club, they were saying, it's just the kind of thing that happens, isn't it? They'll be looking at it exactly the same as we are. Watch Conway start and score, but the stats. I know people will say, well, stats don't tell everything, but 1 goal in 9, 2 goals in 5. That's what we're looking at the moment. For Conway and Lath. Conway just. I don't know if there's a little bit less pressure on him. I don't know if last look at the 20 million quid and going, okay, I've got to live up to that now. I don't know. Maybe he needs to arm on his shoulder, just back to basics kind of thing. But as a whole, we can see 2 really poor goals on Saturday, which I'm going to go into in just a sec. But we need to start finishing our chances. The amount of chances I've written down when I've watched the game back, say, Latte Laugh, Azaz, Hamilton, Dork missed an absolute sitter. I think the shot came in from, I think it was Latte Laugh. The shot was saved down to by Bond. Dork's got to be finishing that. For me, Dork has to finish that. If you're following in, you get a chance on goal. You can't just say, well, the keeper's gobbled it up. He had time. He had time to put that ball away. Am I being harsh? Probably. But it's just, there's too many times this season where we've got to that point where we've been, in a position to score and we just haven't put it away. There's too many times now. It's not a case of, we're just settling in. We're getting towards that 10-game mark now where people start looking at where you are and where you should be. And we've created, I think it's nigh on 80 chances in the league this year. That's a lot.
All this XG rubbish. It's a load of nonsense for me. But Derby away, dominated the game, should have won, would have been disappointed with a draw, never mind losing. Portsmouth and Preston before the weekend games, 2 of the bottom 3, drew with both of them at home. First half, Preston absolutely battered them. Portsmouth at home, something like 24 shots. If we don't start putting the chances away, this squad's definitely good enough for top 2, and the players are good enough for top 2. If they don't start putting the chances away, they're going to throw it away. Something needs to change with regard to scoring goals.
Yeah, no,
I think they're not good. I think they haven't got the confidence in training. I think none of them look like they want to score any goals. None of them are taking shots from outside the box and feel they're confident to score from outside the box, or have an opportunity and take a risk. I think there's something in the training, and whether that's they need to bring someone in who can assist Carrick with just taking the strikers and just getting good confidence in them. I said when I was walking out of Vicarage Road, I said someone like Jimmy Ford Hasselbank, to just someone who could score goals in the past, is a good coach to come in and just assist. For me, if behind Carrick he's got his brother and he's only got Woodgate to do the coaching, then that's not good enough to score goals. It needs someone who knows where the onion bag is, who knows who can score goals in his career, and come in and really give some confidence and inspiration to these players.
You're absolutely right. We had the exact same conversation on the bus on the way home. You've got Woodgate, you've got Ledbetter, defenders, midfielders, you've got Carrick, midfielder, but there is no who is taking the strikers. You absolutely hit the nail on there, because we were talking about the likes of Man United bringing Ruud van Nistelrooy in, and the looking at the strikers there, how they could learn from Ruud van Nistelrooy. We haven't got that. I'm pretty sure, Jimmy Floyd, he's on international duty with England, but he must be free the rest of the time. Someone of that ilk. But yeah, I think you think back to what different coaches we've brought in, and if you look at someone who had not a bad game against Man City at the weekends, Adama Traore, and when Tony Pulis, brought the sprinting coaches in to help him, slow down and compose himself. We just need something similar.
I think people might listen into this and think that we're being critical of the management team, or we're being critical of the coach and staff. But I tell you 1,000,000%, the players are saying the same thing. We're missing too many chances. We're throwing points away. The management team 100% will be in discussions with each other saying, we're throwing points away, yeah. So we're not saying anything that's not getting said behind closed doors. We're watching the games. We can see what's happening. We are throwing points away, whether you like it or not. It's not a criticism of the way we're playing, because we're creating plenty of good chances. We're just throwing points away, and it might come back to cost us in April and May.
Because we look at the build-up play. The build-up play is fantastic. We're moving the ball well. We're transitioning from defence to attack really, really well. That's the coaching. That's Carrick. That's Ledbetter. The coaching is brilliant in the build-up play, and our defensive play's got better as well. We're conceding less silly goals. The mistakes are getting less and less. We're just conceding now quite good goals on the counter, which is just how teams will play against us with the encountering the way we play is just scoring goals, and that just needs someone to come in and to help that. And I hope they will look at it and think they need to bring someone in who can help, get us to start scoring some goals. It's really needed.
Well, that's it, isn't it? I mean, you're just saying there, they're talking about it behind closed doors. They're talking about it in the press as well. They're coming out and saying it after games. I mean, look what George Edmondson said. How many times this season have players come out and said, there's one game where we'll give someone a thrashing. We'll put all these chances away and we'll give a team a thrashing. They all know these chances that we're missing, and they're not difficult chances either, which is the most annoying bit, could come back and cost us at the end, like you said, cuts in April and May. And that's not us just being dramatic or over the top, because I know JD said, who's still enjoying his time in Spain, he said some of the reactions been a bit overcritical, over the top. But when you look at the chances we're missing, we could be sat here March, April, May going, do you remember that game against Portsmouth when we had 30 shots on goal? Remember that game against Darwin when we had 25 shots and we couldn't put the ball in the net? That's what we're going to be talking about. And I don't want us to go into them months having to chase points because we've dropped them already. I just don't want that. But
if Magic got on the end of that cross against West Brom, we could quite easily have come out with 1 point out of 6, where we definitely, in my opinion, we played well enough in them 2 games to get 6 points.
You did. You're absolutely right. We didn't exaggerate a couple of weeks ago when we were all saying, how are we not where Sunderland are in the league? How have we not got 18, 19 points on the board?
Yeah, we haven't got keepers throwing the ball in the net. But we haven't got.
Yes. Dear me. Honestly, one of the worst things I've ever seen. One of the worst things I've ever seen. And I watched Joe Lumley in goal and Bessinelli in goal. Honestly, I've never seen anything like this. What are you doing? But, I don't know how much they paid that keeper to do that, because look how pally he was with the Sunderland coach. That's all I'm saying. They were very pally and laughy. I wouldn't be laughing at him. But the point's there, isn't it? We should be on 20 points plus, and that's not us going. Yeah, but look at, you're just saying that because you're on that side of the fence. You're Borough fan. Pundits are saying it. Pundits are looking at us and going, how have these not got more points? I think Don Goodman said it on Tuesday night watching the Borough. How are Borough not where West Brom were, top of the league? And that's because, and then that's when they brought all the stats up. I know you mentioned XG, don't mention it. Our XG is -4. I've never seen an XG of minus. Never.
Just for little people who be for all the XG. It's a proper whopper of a stat.
Minus.
The main stat is what you put in the back of the net.
Yeah, of course.
And
how many games we played now? Is it 9?
9 games in the league.
I don't think I can ever remember a run of games where we've missed so many gilt-edged chances.
Oh, I can't.
We've had more chances in 9 games than we did under 2.5 years under Tony Pulis.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Well.
There we go. But I tell you what, though, tidy finish by Edmondson at the weekend, and there was some good limbs in that away in Derby, wasn't there?
Just about to say it, right? We haven't mentioned the goal yet. Yes, it was a bit of a bit of a mess from the Watford's perspective. How 2 of them didn't clear that ball before Edmondson got. But Edmondson was there, a bit like, dare you say it, what a number 9 should be. A bit of a poacher, waiting for the ball, went, I'll have that. That's my goal. And I'm not being funny, Dal. You said Edmondson 2-1. If you went 1-1, like you usually do, well, you've had some cash in the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not your fault. I'm not blaming you. But like you said, I mean, I'll let you talk about the goal itself. Tidy little finish. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. It went through half a dozen players and then ended up with Edmondson, and I couldn't tell. It seemed to ricochet about. I couldn't tell if he'd scored it or if it come off a defender. And I think there was too many people jumping on me at the time. So it was a good away end at that point. And I just obviously on the away end, I think it was one of the best away ends I've been to this season. It was up there with Leeds. It was noisy from even before the players came out. Watford fans, my God, I didn't hear a peep until they'd scored, and genuinely, that's not just the normal away fan crack. But yeah, good. Nice to see him score. I did think about the bet at that point, thinking we were on. What were your thoughts, Harvey, on it?
I think the goal was, he was lucky, but he was, again, right place, right time. Doesn't really matter. It's a goal. The goal's a goal, and it was a great goal to sort of kickstart. And I think from that point on, we needed to get at them and get another, and just get that game, done. When they come and attack us, we're so much better, and teams attack us, we can get on the break, and we should have broken them down, and we should have scored another. But going back to the away end, it was a cracking away end. It was so good. Again, that and Leeds, just when you've got a sold out away end and the vibes are great, and it's just makes it so much better. And I can see it on the players as well, when we're jumping up and down and we're singing, and singing Vandenberg. It's just, you can see him getting hyped up himself, and we can still sing Latte Laugh, and you can see him getting a bit of confidence and just get that extra bit of pace over a couple of yards just to get himself going, because you can hear him chanting, and it just makes a difference. So for credit to all the Borough fans here, we were great, and Watford fans should be ashamed of 2-1 up, and we were still allow this, and it's just bit of a shambles of a club, to be honest, with the fans.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, though, we're 1-0 from being in the ground. Did you see them coming back and the game ending as it did? Because everybody around was just in disbelief that we just crumbled.
It was quick. It was too quick. It was for the first time goal went in. They went with them. The first goal for them was for me, we should have done better. It was obvious it was going out to the side they were going to attack Borges. It was always going to be him that was going to be the side they were going to go down the attack. And but the second goal, that was a good goal. I watched it back a couple of times, and it's a good finish, and not much you can do about it. But we should not be in that situation. We should not be in a situation where we're scragging around to defend to get to hold on to a draw. Should have had the game finished up by 70th minute.
There was the first goal for me. I don't know if I'm critical on the goalkeeper, but I think the goalkeeper's got to do better. I think it's right at him. I think I thought at the time, watching back, I think you've got to do better as a goalkeeper. The second goal, it is a good goal, but for me, Vandenberg, maybe he's
there's two men marking.
Yeah,
and he still gets his shot off, but it's a good shot. But the first goal, you're right. It's Dieng's got to do better. It's underneath him. It's right at him, and usually he's a sort of keeper would palm that away and will get out for a corner or something. But he's got to do better there. And there is small mistakes there that we can sort of look back on and say it. But again, goes back to the point: we should not be having to go equalise and go 2-1 down. We should have had the game 2 or 3-0, by 70th minute.
I'm not sure if you had the same conversations I did after the game, but I know there was someone being quite vocal on the way out, saying that he hopes, and the whispers have come out today, and we'll touch on it in a second about Michael Carrick, that he hopes he goes to Man United and Ten Hag goes, they put him in charge, and we move on. I heard a couple of people having similar conversations. I'd hate to see him go personally, but the big issue I think that he's got is there isn't a plan B, and teams have sussed us out. You beat us playing 2 ways, I think. I think you beat us by a bit of housery, like Preston did. I think you time waste, you frustrate the life out of us, you defend, or you try and soak it up and get about 70, 80 minutes and then go at us. Because at that point, we're not going to change the way we play. And for me, I think the team are knackered sometimes with the way that we play. I think that's ultimately where we fall down.
For me, one of the big things of the way we play is on the left-hand side and sitting, quite narrow on the left-hand side. For me, I'm an old school. I like my wingers out wide. I like wingers. I don't like the inverted thing. And I think when you're doing that, you need a really, really good left back to do it. A Ryan Giles-esque player to come in and have that attacking thing. Neto Borges does not do that. He doesn't do the job which we need him to do if you're going to have that. You've got to change it. We've got to be a bit more out wide. If he goes left and it goes right, it's the same thing either side. Defenders hate that. They hate the ball being stretched so much that you leave a fullback one-on-one, and that's the thing. You need to have a plan B, and it's being having the opportunity to get out wide. We've got the players to do it. We've got the wingers to be able to have a plan B and stretch the play so much that we can switch the ball over and sort of have a bit of fun with the fullbacks like they do with us. But when you're sticking with the same thing, and then, like I said, it gets so predictable down the wings that you're right. There's two ways of beating us, and teams now know that, and they just pick and choose which one they want to do in the game.
That left side though goes back to Riley McGree. We've looked so much better when Riley McGree was there.
Yeah, definitely.
But counter that, when we conceded 2 goals, both McGree and Jones were on the pitch. He made the swap. He brought both wingers off. I thought, and I've watched it back a couple of times, I love the man. I absolutely love Michael Carrick. I just thought he got the timing of it very wrong. Very, very wrong. Because it slowed us down so much, which is really surprising because of the pace that Jones has got and the pace that McGree can inject into a team as well. He's got that about him. But we just seemed to slow down so much. And bringing Bergsorg in as well, I just thought the pace was gone. Everything was gone about the way we were going forward. We were going to catch the team on the counter. And it just played right into Watford's hands. And I say the first goal, yeah, I've got to look at the keeper. Keeper's got to save it for me. But the second, it's from a throw-in. 1, why is the 7 Borough players on the front post? 7. 2, what's Rav Vandenberg doing? He's just stood there doing nothing. Because the ironic thing is, if he stands 5 yards in front of where he was, he'd hoof that, and we wouldn't even be talking about it. And 3, what's made Ayling look away from his player to watch the player go around him, and he was on the wrong side completely. It was a great finish. The finish from Dele Bashiri was an unbelievable finish, and I credit him for it. But if you're watching that as Carrick, as other Carrick, as Woodgate, as Ledbetter, defensively we were an absolute mess. And I don't know if it's because we were shell-shocked. We were actually, it was 1-1, not 2-0. But it absolutely dumbfounded me. And I thought, how the hell have we lost this game? Like, where's that come from? Where's it come from? Because even Watford was saying, I don't know how we've won this. Go on, coach. You've leant forward. This means business.
Yeah, well, I think we've mentioned it time and time again. We haven't got anyone in this squad who's nasty.
Nope.
When their wingers started getting at Ayling, especially for me, it was down the right-hand side. And when they made the changes, kick him in the stand. Is it pretty? No, but you do what you need to do to win. We've got the only vocal player for me that we've got in the whole squad is Lenihan, and he's out injured. Now, for me, he's not much worse at all than our other centre-halves. I think he's a massive miss. Or we sign somebody in January who will say to the players and have a go at them when they equalise. Keep hold of the ball for 5 minutes, lads. Don't let the fans are going to be up for it here. They've just equalised. They'll think they can go on and win a game. Keep hold of the ball, pass it about, keep your heads. The ultimate goal is to get promotion. Or someone who'll back and shout orders out. Vandenberg does it a little bit. He's only 19-year-old. But Lenihan is the only player that we've got in that squad that will have a go at them. Howson leads by example. Ayling leads by example. Are we missing someone in the middle of that park who's going to have a go at the other players, or put in a tackle where you get Hackney gets booked every game for pulling someone back, getting hold of his shirt? That's a wasted yellow card. Put someone in the stands. For me, we are massively missing that. You need someone in there that's nasty. Ledbetter, Clayton, who doesn't mind putting the foot in and having a go at the lads and saying, look, 5 minutes, keep the ball. I don't care how you look at it. You can talk about chances, defensive mistakes. We should have been far away in that game, but not every game is going to go all for us. You need someone who can talk and settle the lads down and say, look, get a grip here, we're going to blow it.
I think I'd like to see Morris could be that player. I think the way he gets around the pitch, I think he could be if he had that way about him. I think he could be that player. I don't know who you would go for. Who is that type of player, John? Who we could target and go for. But yeah, we do need a bit of bite. But I mentioned there earlier on, because I don't know if you've seen on Twitter that there's obviously all whispers online about what's going on at Man United. Do you think that's something that would be concerning the club? Could you see him going away and going back to Man United?
No.
No.
I see it. He's staying.
He's not good enough.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's about anyone being good enough. If you watch Ten Hag for the last last couple of years, but those are the whispers. Personally, I think he's here to do a job, and I think he's been quite loyal throughout his career. You know, you go back to his career, look at when he went down with West Ham.
I think he's settled as well. I think he's settled in the area, and I'd say now I'm a huge fan of Carrick. I think he's one of the best things that's happened since I've supported the club. One of the best things that's happened to the club. He's brought a bit of stability. You feel a bit of longevity with him. You don't feel like he's a Chris Wilder who's thinking always which club's going to come into and which one's he going to go for. You know, he's not a bad man. He's a very good manager. You feel like he's not going to get sacked. You know, he's doing really well. I think he's the best thing, and it'd be a disaster if he went. It'd be a disaster. I think he is absolutely the lifeblood of this club right now, and everything that he brings and his staff and the players that he's brought in. It feels like they're united and not Man United, united as a team, and it's something that we definitely have missed over the last 5 years. You know, and I think that if he went, we could spell a bit of danger for the club. I think I trust the board to get if it did happen. I don't think it will. If it did, to get it right, and they're more research based now, and they'll be able to make the right call. But for what he brings, and for what that level headedness that he brings, and it's all calm, and it's for me, it's just it's the best thing this club could have, and to have any jeopardy to that could be disaster.
I agree with you. It would be devastating for this football club if he went. But there's not a chance of him stopping it if Man United come knocking. No chance.
Yeah.
I hope he stays. I want him to stay. But if they come, like you said, Ten Hag's for I mean, he's going to be gone anyway. I don't really think they'd go for him. But if they did, there's no chance he stays here. Doesn't matter how settled he is. There's no chance.
Oh no, I agree with that. If they come knocking, he's gonna have his ears pricked, isn't he? But I mean, when I say he's not good enough, I'm not saying he's not good enough as a coach. He absolutely is, and I love the guy. I absolutely love Michael Carrick at Middlesbrough. But I just don't know. He's not ready for that step. He's nowhere near that step yet. He's still learning, and it's showing. I suppose in the defeats we've had this season that he's still learning as well. If Man United are going to employ anyone, you need to look at the person that put Ten Hag in his place yesterday, Van Nistelrooy. He'll do the job. He'll do the job. I'm not saying he's the permanent fix, but
I wouldn't go that like.
They need that. I mean, I'm not saying it's the permanent fix for him, but that conversation's gone viral, and you just saw Van Nistelrooy put him straight in his place, and I thought, no manager should have their assistant put them in their place. No way. That
would sound like a Man United podcast. Our former captain who lifted the Carling Cup, he'll be the one that stops Carrick going to Man United because wrongly they'll appoint him instead.
They'll bring Mark Keown in to put Van Nistelrooy in his place tomorrow morning.
What with Lauren behind him putting the ball at his head, yeah.
Ray Parlour.
He's busy with Alan Brazil, isn't he, Ray Parlour, let's face it. The Cobra Club. But yeah, let's get back to our point. That second goal, for me, I mean, you talk about Man United, I thought it was as bad as any Man United defender I've ever seen, especially the Spurs game last week. People say, yeah, but it's a throw-in and things are different. The keeper should be coming for it. And Jason said to me, the keeper should be coming for that. I'm not being funny. If you're a keeper, you look at your 7 centre-half, centre defenders stood at the beginning of the box, and all of them are getting beat for a header by a Watford player. And not a big one, by the way. It was by Jamie Pollock's lad. He popped up and nodded it on. You'd be pulling each and every one of them and going, how holy hell have you been beat for a header? The 7 year in that 10-yard space. How has that happened? It absolutely did me on Saturday. It really did, and I still can't get my head around it now.
I agree with you. It was a poor goal to concede, but I'm not going to throw the defenders under the bus because I think for the 9 games that we've played this season, I think defensively we've looked really good. Dieng's made a few good saves, but has rarely been called into action. That's because of how well they've played in front of him. And I think Edmondson, for me, has been outstanding since he came in, a bit similar to how Clark did when he got his chance. Van den Berg, we know, is a quality player. You've got to remember, we've got Dale Fry, who's probably the 5th choice centre-half at this football club. We have got a massive, massive amount of talent at this football club. Lenihan, for me, is massive, and I think once he gets back as a target, I think he's going to get in the team, mate, and I think he's someone who we miss, mainly for talking, but I'm not going to throw the defenders under a bus like for that on Saturday. It's football. It happens.
Oh yeah. I think it's just the sheer number of players that are in that small space. I thought, how is one of you not got at the end of the block? But what's your thoughts on Dale Fry being 5th choice centre half?
Well, I think he probably is our 5th choice centre half at the moment.
You are chairman of the Dale Fry fan club, aren't you? And you cut.
Well, it is what it is. Like, nobody's a talented Championship player. I just always said he was rated a bit too highly by Borough fans, but he's a talented Championship player, and if he's our 5th choice centre half, it shows how good the other 4 are. And I keep banging on about it. This squad, I've seen nothing in this division to scare us. It's about how we perform and start putting the ball in the net when we're creating all these chances. Because for me, if we're not top 2 at the end of the season, certainly in the playoffs, you've got to ask questions about Carrick then, because this squad should be top 2 and top 6 bare minimum.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. I can't disagree with any points there. There's no, like I said, a little bit earlier, we are at the point now where teams start looking at where they are and where they kind of should be. The league starts forming in a way this point of the season. That's where the battles start commencing. There's the pushes for going towards the top 6, things like that. It's about now that Coventry start their push for the playoffs. It always happens. We're just waiting for it now. Although there is a bit of discontent about their fans at the moment. They're not quite a big fan of Mark Robbins at the moment. So, just text on to our man of the match. I'll start with you, Kutch. Who was your man of the match from Saturday?
I don't know. I thought the 65 minutes, Edmondson and Van den Berg were really good. So I don't know. I'll go with Edmondson.
Okay. Dario, come to you.
I thought Morris looked good. Remember, I was full of Eldorado at the time and beers and stuff like that. I thought he looked decent. I'll go Morris.
Okay, Harv, come to you.
I'm gonna echo Edmondson. But he was really, really good at centre back. So he just offered something which a bit of stability. Usually when you drop your first centre back, Clark was injured or whatever. Usually come in and it's a bit shaky. But I thought he came in, looked really solid, and he's going to offer some good competition going forward.
Yeah, I'm going to go Finn Azaz. I thought Azaz was brilliant on Saturday. I thought he was really good. I thought the wide players spread their centre halves a bit wider than they felt comfortable being. I know it helped them double up on Dork, but I thought Hamilton got a bit of success with the side. But he let Finn Azaz do his little bits inside and behind the striker. I thought that's where his strongest position is, and that's where he's best, and that's where we get the best out of him as well. But one positive I would say about the game, good seeing Marcus Force back. There's a positive. He's been out for a while, and I will still put my neck on the line about this one. He's the best goal scorer at this football club, and he will score more goals than he won't. Could he be the option to put up top?
And he's got a fortnight now to go and get his head down and rest and nurse his injury back, because he's only playing a couple of minutes. He can't be fully fit. So it'd be, if we can get him ticking and putting the pressure on the strikers, then forcing his way into the team, then absolutely, let's have a look at it.
I think the good thing about having Force back is I think Doak sort of nailed on for one of the wide positions. So if you put Force in the other one, then McGree puts pressure on Azaz to start scoring goals, because we know McGree can play in the 10 as well. And it's only good for the competition for places is good for this football club. We've said before, if you're not scoring goals or you're not creating, there's next in line. So there's plenty of options there for Michael Carrick, and I think the future is bright for the football club. As negative, we've been quite negative in this pod, but we should have had 6 points. I think it's not negativity. I think it's frustration more than negativity. I think that's what we're trying to get across, and no one will be more frustrated than Michael Carrick. So we're not saying anything that he wouldn't say himself.
And to put a bit of lucidity, 9 games in, and we're knocking on the door of the playoffs. We're not out. We're not. We treat it like we're mid-table or down there we were last year. We're knocking on the door of the playoffs, and we know that we can put a run together. We do. We do it every year. We always put 6 or 7 wins together on the bounce, and we look really positive. It will come. It will happen, and we're in a position at the moment where, when that does happen, we'll be shooting up into the playoffs and certainly knocking on the door of the top 2. So for me, I think it's been a good start, and it's just that positivity is frustrating. We should have beaten Watford. We should have beaten Portsmouth and Derby before, but we're knocking on the door, and when it clicks, it's going to be really good.
I agree.
I think that's the best bit, isn't it? I still don't feel like we've got out of second gear as a collective. We've had moments where we've been magnificent to watch, and some of the play we've done has been unbelievable. And to see that as a Borough fan is very strange, very, very strange. But especially when you look back at some of the rubbish we've had to deal with. I mean, having to watch Tony Pulis put the ball in the air for 65 minutes for every 90 minutes was tough. But this football has been brilliant. And I still feel, there's plenty of gears. We've got plenty to come and plenty to push on the team. Because as soon as we hit someone, I'll keep saying it until it happens, we're going to hit someone really, really hard and really bad. And it will make a big statement. So I'm just hoping and praying that it's soon. I really am. But before we finish, I'll give this opportunity you have. Obviously, you talk about, we've got you on part of the Supporters South. You've said a little bit about, the spread of, coverage that you guys have got. What kind of things you've got coming up, kind of meets, things like that. This is your minute, your time to shine. Yeah. Talk us through it.
So MSS it's a great thing. It's Borough exiles, the people who've had to move away or wanted to move away from up north, and an opportunity to come together. We always say we're not a traditional supporters group in the terms of putting a bus on and going to games and stuff. It's about people who want to come and meet other Borough fans at the pub. We have a Prince of Wales Townhouse in Hammersmith, which is our regular pub. If it's on TV, we're there, and it's for people who come. I mean, a story from this weekend just gone. There's a in the pub before the game, I saw someone who comes on his own to the fans. One in London who's a Borough fan. He came along, and I saw him with 3 other people that also came on their own to the pub, and he was there on the way there. And that's what it's about for us. It's about connecting up Borough fans to all come together for our one shared love, which is the club, and to watch the games. So if you're in London, you have to be from the south. If you're in London for a weekend and Borough on TV, come to the Prince of Wales Townhouse. We are there. We're always there. We always have great deals on beers. I think usually a 10% off food and a free beer, a free pint if you're wearing a Borough shirt. So come down if you're in the area. Everyone's welcome. If you're a Borough fan, just come down and enjoy it. And that's what we're about, connecting Borough fans up from across the country, across the south, to share our love for Borough.
Absolutely. Pop over and say hello to the landlord, Harvey McCabe.
Yes, I wish.
If you start talking about the deals, just tell it exactly who told you what we're on. But no, I love that, especially the part about people turning up that don't know people in the area. We're massive about that. Within the 12th man, we're always saying if you go to the games by yourself and you want to have an half-time chit chat, just come and have a chat with us. That's what football's about. It's about bringing everyone together, and we're all behind one thing. That's what I love. But yeah, that's us pretty much done. I will say I'll give you a little bit about next week. So we've only got a game to preview, but we've got 2 guests coming. You will see on the socials later on in the week who they will be. One of them does a great impression of Brian Clough. That's all I'm saying. If you've been watching Under the Cosh and stuff, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And the other one is a well-known referee. There you go. But yeah, we're gonna, everything will be revealed. Everything will be, we'll talk about everything with them next week. It's some great stories. Make sure you tune in, get your stuff in. Get your questions in once everything's revealed. But that's it, really. Cut. Thank you very much for popping on, as usual. I'll see you next week.
You will indeed. Pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, I'll be in next week. Dally, potentially see you next week.
Yeah.
Thanks for popping on, man. Harvey, thank you very much for coming on. You've made your debut. Very successful debut. Well done. It's 2 more. You get a football or a bag of Haribo, whichever one. But yeah, thank you very much for popping on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you on the North Stand very soon as well.
Yes, absolutely. It's Block 23. So we're all up there. We'll even make sure you get a nice flag as well. So yes, we'll make yourself welcome up there. And yeah, thank you very much for listening, liking, subscribing, commenting. Yeah, we'll be back next week. It's a really special one next week. So make sure you tune in, make sure you're listening, and yeah, up the borough. Be seeing you.